December the 19th, December the 20th, 2005, I went to a property networking event. Don't worry about it, Gary. Sure. I went to a property networking event. And there were probably only 9, maybe 10 people at that networking event. It was quite small, quite quiet in Peterborough, the Holiday Inn just over the road near the police station, although they're unconnected. In fact, they're near the police station. And I went in and listened to the talk and heard this guy Warren Bourget talking about how many millions it made and that kind of stuff. And you know, at first I was a bit sceptical, but after a while I thought, yeah, it all sounds good. And even though I was, what, £35,000 in credit card debt, I bought his £5,000 property pack, lobbed another £5,000 on it. Well, you know, it's going bad enough as it is, it doesn't make any difference. And I walked out of the room with this big folder. And I was about to leave, and I turned right to go into the bar just by the front door, because I thought, well, I suppose if I'm here, I might as well network, because it's a property networking event. And I went around everyone, and I was a bad networker in the early days. I got my Vista print business cards out, and I went, yeah, whoa, this is networking, and mustard carpet on the whole room. And I got to the last person at the bar. And I sat down, and he was sat, so he sat there, that's him, and I'm sat probably there. And I looked over at him, and he looked really quite grumpy. So I thought, well, maybe I won't stuff a card under his nose. And I went, I'm Rob. And he went, I said, do you want a drink? He went, Diet Coke. So after about 10 minutes, this guy finally told me his name. Name? Mark Homer. Mark was the window, the portal, the entrance, the coach, the mentor, the partner, the connections, everything that Daniel said about luck through to a new world for me. And that's one of the best days I've experienced in my life, because had it not been him, because many of you might have some funds, but at some point you're going to need to use someone else's. And those of you that don't, you need to meet your Mark, or someone like him. Now, like Daniel said, because I was listening to him doing the Lucky acronym, and that really made me think, because thinking about it, there were probably loads of people like Mark that passed through my life 10 years before. I just wasn't ready to see it. Now, it took Mark and I a few months to get to know each other, and it took a few months for me to get some money out of him. But, 420 odd deals later, we've still got about 300 of them. We flipped or packaged and sold the rest. And the next maybe hour and 20 minutes, I'm going to teach you a part of every part of reverse engineering that process. Who's up for that, by the way? Okay, so there's really just a 3-step system for raising finance. Now, at the minute, we're not talking about banks, crowdfunding, anything like that. All we're talking about is someone gives you money and works with you, and you invest it on your behalf. When I say you, I mean yours and theirs. You're going to package that together, you're going to make a partnership. We'll talk about that maybe in half an hour or so. But the 3-step system is simply this. Go in naked, which Brian Tracy in his sales training, he has this phrase, go in naked, which means go in with no outcome other than to listen to the person that you're talking to at the time. I now know, I'm glad I didn't, but back when I first met Mark, if in that first meeting I'd have said, hey, I need some money for a deal or whatever, that would have been game over. With someone like Mark, you don't get another chance. So I'm quite lucky I didn't mess it all up. Probably because I didn't know anything. But if I'd have asked him for money or showed him a deal or something, that would have been the end of the game. The fact is I just needed to listen because I didn't know anything, so I couldn't say anything, so I had to listen because I had no value to give. So that ended up being good for me because I couldn't talk anyone out of working with me. Which, back then, if I'd have opened my mouth, that would have done the trick. Okay, so you go in naked. Now, what most people think is, okay, so I need this deal, I need this money, I'm going to go to networking events, I'm going to print off my deal, I'm going to put a proposal together, I'm going to make a business plan, blah, blah, blah. People can read that, I'm going to approach them and ask them for money. It's just totally the wrong way to do it. Step 2. Once you know what they want, need, stay awake at night worrying about, what's most important to them. Then you package up your deal. And by deal I mean joint venture. I mean how you and they can work together, earn money together. Now, again, going back, what most people do is, I need some money, I'll pay 1% a month, I need this, I need that. So they've dressed it at stage 1 how they would want it. In this, you dress it at stage 2 how they would want it. Your partner, not you. You're not, if you think about it, this isn't magic. You are understanding what they want and then giving them what they want in a wrapper that's what you want. Stage 3, you tell them where to put the money. You ask for the money. You come to a conclusion. You tie up the deal. You close the deal. You do the legals. You close the deal off. That's the 3-step process. So golden rule, you're creating a bespoke package for what that person wants in the realms of what I'm about to teach you. Okay, great. So, that being said, JVs is not just about money. In fact, if you'd have asked me, what have I got the most benefit from with Mark? His money, or his decade of experience, his knowledge, his research, you know, his ability to analyse a deal, structure a deal, that kind of thing. Yeah, well, that's probably the money. No, I'm only joking. It's definitely what he knows, not the money. Because probably the first 20 deals we did, we probably only put his deposit down, his money down on about 4 of them. The rest we were doing no money down. So I was leveraging his knowledge, not even his money, but his knowledge of leveraging money. Okay, so what are the benefits can you as a team, in a group, come up with for doing JVs other than, you know, getting the money? Knowledge. That moment there when I met Mark, as I said, even more valuable than the money was the knowledge. Now he actually had millions of pounds. Didn't tell me for about 3 years, type bastard. Had to get him really pissed one night on strawberry daiquiris. But he didn't use his money, but it was his knowledge of money that ended up being the biggest benefit. Okay, so knowledge. What else? Time. Someone else's time. Whether it's their time that they've spent to build their network of millionaire friends, or whether it's their time because they're going to be doing the deal sourcing or the management, or their time they spent 10 years building a commercial finance relationship with Santander and Lloyds and Handelsbanken, and you leverage that when they put that money into a deal that you're doing together. So yeah, time's a big one. What else? What else might you do, JVs? Yeah, support. Support. Show me your hand if sometimes you do have doubts if you're doing the right thing in your life. Okay. And you know when you get into property, either new, because you're new, or next strategy, because you want to step up, how do you know if what you're doing is the right thing? And it's very easy to talk yourself out of it, or easier not to do anything because you don't want to make a big mistake. So just someone as an ear, an experienced ear. Sometimes all you need to do is go blah, 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 blah. You know, like Gemma comes to me with challenges and I'm trying to answer them all for her. She's like, I don't want any answers. Just listen. Blah, 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 blah. And then, you know. So sometimes you just need to get it out. Also, when you have a bad day and you work with someone, you have a reason to sort those challenges out. You have someone to support you when you're not feeling so good. Because property, a lot of people tell me property can be a lonely business. Well, I don't really know because I've always had Mark as a partner, so it's never been lonely for me. But a lot of people say it's a really lonely business. They're trying to do everything on their own. Sometimes as well, you can't solve the problem you're trying to solve in your head because you created the problem. Now, for example, the lady here said, well, you know, it's just the hard bit is finding the money. Well, for me, that's the easy bit. Because I just know what I know. But you don't know what you don't know.